What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Third Person. This is the Third Person Podcast. My name is Kris, and with me, as always, are my boys, Mike.
What's up?
And Jesse.
How you doing?
Guys, today we're going to be reviewing, recapping, and just generally talking about Westworld Season 1, Episode 7, entitled Trompe L'Oeil. Trompe L'Oeil. Oh,
Hey, Ron, what does that mean?
Trompe L'Oeil. What does it mean? You have the definition? You did have the definition, but you don't have it anymore.
It's
guys,
like a visual display of art, making 3D or 2D objects seem 3D and all that kind of stuff.
Which is basically a perfect thing
Analogy
to talk about.
for something.
Yeah, perfect
that
analogy
in
for what happens in the show, which we're going to get into in a moment. But first, Jesse, hit us up with that recap, man.
All right. So, as you know, Dolores and William are on a journey. They continue that journey with Lawrence. Maeve, who is now sentient, presents her demands, and Bernard deals with difficult decisions.
Wowzers.
Oh, so mystery.
Mysterious. Mysterioso.
It's so mystery.
It's
so mystery.
It's
Anyway.
so mystery. We know what the words mean.
I don't know what you speak of. This so mystery.
It's late at night. We're goofy as balls. Let's do this.
Guys, why don't we talk about let's get the shit part over first, all right? For me, the shit part,
mystery.
the soap mystery, the shit part for me in this episode was William and Dolores. I mean that
Half
was
of their stuff was.
well, all right. I mean, okay, you're right. So their particular story. Okay, so she's like, I'm gonna go here, and he's like, well, I'm gonna be married, and he's like, but I want to bang you anyway, and I know you're not real, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a cold, dead robot to fuck instead of a warm wife that's married to Logan.
Are they cold, though?
Oh,
I'm
probably.
sure they're not cold.
They're probably
Sure
not
they're
cold.
not cold.
Yeah.
Probably not,
They probably
because
got-
we get that thing later on. Like, she would have noticed if, was cold.
Oh yeah, true. So, no, I was just making words. But I mean, all right. So William's like, this is my adventure. I don't want to go home. I want to have this adventure. Great for you, buddy. Good for you. The best parts of that part of the story is the train they're on the train. They're with Lawrence and they're going into Native American territory for whatever reason.
The doors.
Oh, the doors. They're gonna blow some fucking shit up. Who cares? But they get stopped, and it's the Confederate Army comes up, and they plaster the whole train with the Gatling gun. And they send
They
out.
knock off the iron doors on the window.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That was
Yeah.
dumb. You were like, he hit the hinge. Well, he didn't hit the fucking hinge, man. It's just put up shoddily, I guess.
Probably, who knows?
I actually thought it was gonna be like it was made to do that. Like, production was like, oh, let's have them blow off this part of the door, and then someone comes
I
out and
meant
shoots
to
out
do
that
that.
window. You
Yeah.
know, like, and then it was I thought they were gonna use that as a device, but instead they open up the cargo doors, and a dude rides out on a horse with a white flag, and he's like, cowards. The Confederate
But
Army
it's
guy.
not a dude.
Yeah, he
But
has
it's
the
not
white flag behind them.
He's not a dude.
Well, it is a dude, but it's not a dude that's alive.
It's not a live dude. It was one of the dead dudes filled with nitroglycerin. And it's cool because we're like, oh, shit, that dude's dead. And oh, shit, his eyes are bleeding nitroglycerin.
Yeah, and then I go, Nitro!
Yeah. And Lawrence comes out and shoots it and it explodes. And then they get away and they ride away.
Yeah,
And as
it's
they
Like, it
ride,
was leaking from the eyes and
it's so
stuff,
cool.
dude,
It was cool.
beforehand.
It was cool. We were all so psyched about it. We were like, oh, God, it's going to finally blow something up. But then they ride away, and they've got two more nitro bodies laying across horses as they're pounding down the
Over
fucking trail.
terrain.
Like,
Yeah.
really? Like, isn't that shit supposed to be super unstable? So, but it was cool because we get to see them. So the Confederate Army, they collide with Native Americans who attack them, and so Lawrence and
The
Dolores,
Ghost Army, wasn't it?
the Ghost Army, the Ghost
Yeah.
Army. So they distract the Confederate Army long enough for Lawrence, William, and Dolores to get away. Dolores.
Distract. They murdered.
Yeah, well, it's just still a distraction for them. But I mean, I thought it was kind of cool. And then it ended where it was like, Dolores and Will were like, "What are we gonna do?" He's like, "Oh," Lawrence is like, "Okay, so you're gonna come with me to finish this thing out?" And and they're like, she's like, "I'm not going there. I'm going home." And he's like, yeah, what
I
she
thought
said.
she was meaning the farm.
Yeah, I'm with her.
Yeah, I'm with this chick. She just gave me her robo vagina. I'm with the rogina.
That's
Wait,
it.
didn't we have a good word
That
for
sounds
that?
like a channel you'd make.
Robogina. Yeah, Robogina. Oh, that's a good one. Robogina. What can I say? My man William's into Robogina. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I
A
mean,
lot
look.
of good like scenery shots though.
Oh, whatever they're
and,
shooting, this is beautiful. And I mean, you don't think it was on a
Yeah.
green screen, do you? That doesn't look
I don't
like it
know,
was
man.
green
Lawrence
screen.
was like perfectly lit through that whole thing. There were some amazing shots.
Yeah,
there.
because he smoked right
I don't know.
before, so that motherfucker was lit as hell, yo.
God dang
That
it.
bitch was high as fuck. You notice Lawrence loses his accent here and there? Like at
Every
that,
now and then, yeah.
that-
He did
that
that in
whole s-
Boondock Saints too, man.
yeah.
He like
Tough.
he's supposed to be playing a Mexican guy there, and he loses his Mexican accent, and I think he is actually Mexican.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but as an he's you know, you got to remember these guys are like classically trained actors.
Yeah.
They have no accent anymore. Like that's
Yeah.
you know, they can, you know, it's hilarious when I see like they try and get like people that are like from like the inner city or from like, you know, from a South American you know, country or you know, whatever but you know that these guys were like they're literally classically trained, like they trained in
Yeah.
theater and everything. So it's like they're just
he was that
normal.
with Theresa Cullen too. She was losing her accent like halfway through here.
Oh yeah, her
Like
stuff
her
goes
Dutch
her stuff just
accent or
goes
whatever
in
it
and
is.
out.
That's because she was shitting her pants.
No, she's not French. Remember, she's
No, she's Dutch,
Dutch. I thought you said French.
Danish,
Okay.
or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Anyway, yeah. So I mean, cool, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of losing interest in his and her story. I don't care about Dolores at this point.
I'm
it was
curious about
cheesy.
the
We even
names,
said it.
But
Yeah,
we
it
should
was-
cover that.
It was kind of
dumb.
cheesy, you
Yeah,
know.
so let's move on from that. But I mean, yeah, so that's it with them. It's there. I hopefully it turns into something. But this episode was balls. You know, at least they spruced it up with nitro bodies. That's all I could say. Anyway,
Pretty
Maeve,
Oh yeah, Maeve and her sentient control.
do some Maeve.
Yeah. So we cut to Maeve at one point. She's waking up. We see the guys in the background shoot each other again. She goes into the bar. She talks with Clementine. She struggles to actually have a dialogue with Clementine at first.
Well, yeah, because she breaks
she's
into her routine.
realizing-
Yeah.
Remember,
she's
she's
breaking
like,
her script.
that was so cool because she's like, blah 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 blah. Wait a second, why the fuck am I saying this
She
shit?
shuts the,
I don't
she
wanna
shuts the
say this.
the piano from playing. It's
Oh
all
yeah, she was like, yo, fuck
you
all
know.
this shit.
Yeah, it's all
Uh,
the repetitive things that she just deals with every morning when she wakes up and walks into the saloon or whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
What was that? She broke the dialogue tree eventually, and she said, so what are these dreams you have about?
No,
Are they good
no,
dreams?
that was part of her
No,
dialogue
yeah,
because that was
she
what
said
she had
that
asked her
before.
previously.
Really?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
she discussed it. Yeah, because she's
There was
like, oh, I
something
couldn't
else
sleep.
though that she
yeah.
did. There was something else that
She's
she
like, don't
said
you
that
ever
broke
want
it.
something more? And then
Yeah, that's what it
Clementine
was.
started talking about her past, which we never heard before,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
obviously part of her programming. But we've never heard that because Maeve never asked.
Might
her
have been
that before.
spontaneous.
But she has the backstory though. It's part of her story. But Maeve never accessed it before. That was probably something that she would tell the Johns. You know, like if
Yeah,
they ask
probably.
where she's from or whatever, why she's doing
They
this.
come up
she's,
with all sorts of
yeah. But
dialogue,
Maeve is
so-
getting the story, and Maeve's like, "Oh shit!" And then she's looking
this
at her
explains
like, "I feel so bad for you." But I'm thinking like, "Bitch, but you're the same thing." She's probably thinking like, "Well, I'm not part of this anymore." And then
Who
we
knows?
find she's not anymore because then the entire scene
Yeah.
stops, right?
Yeah, it stops, and Maeve is like looking around. She's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then she realizes, "Oh crap!" Because she hears the what are they called? The butchers coming in, the engineers.
Engineers,
Engineers, butchers. It's interchangeable. I've heard it's called
grabs
both.
that knife.
And
with
she
the little
grabs the
cheese
knife. She's holding it. She's
yeah,
like, "Am I going to have to stab somebody?"
"Oh yeah," because
Yeah.
they're looking for somebody, and we think it, and they're
She's
like,
the
"Oh,
one
this
over there
is
near the bar," is what they say.
this is the one that's had
And-
something with something before, like not a problem, but
Yeah.
something. Remember? And we're like, "Oh shit!" And they grab Clementine, so that was pretty crazy.
Yep. And what else was it that she did that was significant in this episode? She didn't do much significant.
Well, no, so she dies again, comes back, and tells the guy, you know, so he's like, and Felix is like, you've been topside for less than 24 hours. You can't keep
Well, she
coming
wants
down
to
here.
find Clementine.
Yeah, she's like, "Where's Clementine?" And he's like,
Oh my
fine."
darling, Clementine.
No, my
And she grabbed his tablet because at first he was like, I don't know
Yeah.
where she is, and then
Yeah.
she grabbed his thing, was like, burp, 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 burp,
Yeah,
and
like,
she knew
"Oh, she's
exactly
here."
where.
yeah. So she's like, "Take me there." He's like, "God damn it!"
I can't
Yeah.
do nothing.
Yeah, they're stuck
So,
in a tough spot.
so they go upstairs and and they see Clementine, and we'll get to that in the next section. But so she sees Clementine, and then after that whole scene with Clementine, she's like, I want to leave. I want to get out of here. You're gonna help me leave.
Yeah, I want to be free. And they're like, no, the death sentence bad. No, well, I'll kill you if you don't.
Yeah, I died a million times. She said, "How many times have you died?"
Yeah,
I'm
she's
a
like,
professional at
I'm
this.
getting good. She's like, I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I thought with that guy, what the one douchebag was telling her though, he's just like, he's like, you don't
it's not a
get
good
it.
idea.
He's like, you don't get it. He's like, even the skin on your back. He's like, that's
Designed to
owned.
keep you
He's
here.
like, and it's designed to keep you here. He's like,
Yeah.
what you are saying is impossible. So we have the situation where Maeve is just like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. So I like that. I think it's pretty fucking dope. I like.
She turned down her pain threshold significantly, so she could get shot or however they would try to
she
take
was
her
like
down.
getting cut on and stuff, or
Yeah,
sewed up or whatever. on
so
the
she won't
surgery table.
feel it, and they
Yeah.
obviously can't control her if she was to escape, by saying shut down or whatever the command would be. So there is a good way that she might actually. I mean, we don't know where the exit is of this, where that exit door is.
Isn't it like a train though? They all get there from trains.
Yeah, I think it's a
so
train.
They're in the middle of a mountain.
There may
range.
be different, just
Right?
like they can use these elevators to go from here and there. Maybe there is another way for the personnel to go. Well,
I don't think the
whatever.
personnel ever leaves.
Well, but if they're
Oh, they do have living quarters there. That's right. Oh, and they're on rotations. Remember? They what's
what
his
they
face?
said?
Lee talked about that. Lee Sizemore talked about that. How there's
Or no, they were talking about Elsie. She's on rotation.
no. Lee said that too. To when he was hitting on Theresa in the
I
first
thought she
episode.
said leave.
Oh yeah.
No,
Well, she said Elsie's on leave.
No. Yeah,
Ah.
they said Elfie. Yeah, but no, I'm saying they're on. Lee had talked to Theresa that first episode, and she's like, you're really bad at small talk, and you're the one writing our stories. Remember, she made that quip at him, that jab
Yeah.
at him. He was like, what? He was trying to create small talk. He was like, oh, when's your next rotation home? And she's like, that's when she said that. So yeah, so they're
Yeah,
on
you
this.
trying to get rid of me?
It's like
That's what
working
it
on an
was.
oil rig, basically.
Yeah.
They have those rotations. So yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty fucking cool. I'm psyched. I love what they're doing with her. I think Tandy Newton is fucking
Yeah, she's good.
smashing this part, man. I think she's smashing it.
I love the dialogue in this scene, especially because they use like modern terms for like, okay, so they said this is all their IP, and it was like, yeah, okay, I get this. It's
games, man, video games. I told you
exactly. It's modern video game references.
If you
make
people
a
don't know
new
what IP stands for, intellectual property, and that can go for anything: a video game, a movie, a book, a TV show.
but it's mainly
any
used in video
poetry.
games and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, yeah, I thought that was, I like that. I like that shit. It's pretty cool, and she's just a badass. Like she's like, I want what I want, and they don't know what they're doing. They're like, this has never happened before.
Well,
What
they
do I
couldn't
do?
control. She threatens them.
She
can't
does.
get-
She fucking
Literally
just flat out
threatens them.
says, "I will kill
Yeah,
you. I'm just
I'll
gonna
kill
kill
you.
you. Then I'm gonna kill you."
So she's gonna get what she wants, regardless of, of whomever. I mean, the only reason she really needs them is just so they walk around, so nothing looks suspicious that there's someone walking beside her.
And she knows that, and that's why she's
works there.
obviously,
She couldn't just get up on her own and walk. Then they'd be like, "Where the fuck is this rogue host going?"
But would anyone know that she's a host? I mean, I'm sure people recognize her, but what if she
hell
put on some
yeah.
regular
Dude,
clothing?
yeah.
They even said that too. They said, "Yo, you got to stop killing yourself, otherwise people are gonna get suspicious."
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know.
Besides
Yeah.
that, they're always I mean, I'm sure they know their.
I mean, she's on the commercial, for Christ's sakes, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, good
That's
point.
true too.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
I think we've covered Maeve though, because like she
Yeah.
only had those 3 major points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But good stuff. I'm really
Oh, yeah.
enjoying. I'm so looking forward to that. But okay, so let's head over to Theresa and Company, because that was bonkers.
bomb-
And company sure does cover a broad range here. You got Ford, Bernard, Teresa Cullen, the Delos rep who's boning the
What's her name
Hector
again?
model.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
What's her name again?
Just a
Oh, I
lot
forget.
of
I don't know.
lot of stuff
Huh?
going on this episode.
Yeah. So let's talk about that little scene that they set up to try and get rid of Ford and Bernard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
With
think it was
Clementine,
mainly for
yeah.
Ford though, not Bernard.
Well, no, they fired Bernard right there, so of course it
Well,
was him.
yeah, but
You know, they assumed
Yeah,
that the
what?
reveries and this latest update was there was a potential for someone getting hurt, a visitor getting hurt, and
well,
so
that's what they claim.
Well, that's what they're using that so they can get
well,
rid of
that's what they're
Ford. Yeah.
using, of course,
Yeah.
exactly.
So they
That's
bring
what they're
Ford
using.
in and be
So
like, "Oh,
they're,
look what
you
he's
know,
doing."
and
yeah.
they use Clementine as the host that has the bug or the potential to become violent, and they use another one of their hosts, the
Who's made
Delos
to
hosts,
simulate a
who's
human.
a
A human,
human,
yeah.
you know, being violent or whatever it is.
Yeah, like
So,
you're gonna simulate a human, so let's beat on a woman. That's simulating
Yeah.
a human. Okay.
well, I guess, yeah,
That
that
was
is kind of
to-
strange,
Right?
you know,
Like-
that is
Make the
kinda strange, but
violence
I
happen.
guess
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
yeah,
to
they
impose
assumed
violence on a host,
on a
right? Yeah.
host.
So they programmed
Yeah.
them to do that. Yeah.
and
Which
how,
later Bernard says, "This is so cheesy. We all saw through it, and we
he said
saw through it.
if
I'm
your
sure."
code he said if your coders were that any good, they'd be working for me. He said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously they saw through that, and he mentions that even to Theresa later on, that if
Yeah.
I figured this out, what do you think Ford,
Ford,
does?
yeah.
It the same thing. So yeah, so it's a big holy shit, and that's when, you know, when Bernard takes Theresa to, you know,
Well, first, well, before,
Uh,
well, yeah,
you know.
before he does that though, he tells her, so they fire Ford. So Clementine beats the shit out of this other host after she gets beat up, and they're like, oh, see, there's problems, and
Fire
it's your
Bernard.
fault. It's the reveries,
Oh.
it's your fault, and also it's behavior's fault. And who's the head of? Because you had behavior people in your
Yeah.
group come to you, and you did nothing about it. So guess what? You're fired. Bernard's like, what? He's like, yeah, you're fired. But he doesn't leave. Obviously, he goes to Theresa and says,
Obviously, he's still hanging around.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want us to forget the fact that he confronted Theresa and says, by the way, and he did it so nonchalantly in the middle of a conversation, was like, by the way, we know that you're the one that had the stray and you were sending
Yeah.
data. And he's like, I don't care about that
Yeah.
right now. What I care about is the fact that there are hosts doing this stuff, but there is something I need to show you. So like you were saying, Mike, he
It
goes
takes
to
her
take,
to Ford's family.
yeah, or
Yeah.
so he thinks. So
Yeah.
Well, obviously, no one's there when they get to the house.
Yeah.
It's dark, and there's this door, which
Which I
Theresa,
caught on to immediately.
yeah, because I
She
guess
says,
he
"What's
never
this door
noticed
here?"
it there. Yeah, or maybe it was like I don't know. So however,
well, no, because
Ford
remember
set that
Ford.
up-
Remember Ford just pops up in that
Yeah.
one episode.
Oh, that and it was from that side.
And we're all
And
like,
that
and we
door
saw
wasn't
no
there from
door. We
Bernard's
saw no
view.
door, which means we were kind of seeing it through Bernard's thing. So she's like, "Oh, look at this door." He's like,
Yeah, that's
he's
true.
like, "What
What
door?"
door?
And we're all like, "Oh God, no!"
And I'm over there like, "He's an AI. He's an AI."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
just
so
couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't understand how. You know, I have a little theory about the whole, you know, wife thing that kind of made me a little suspicious about the
I have
fact
a
that he
theory on
was
that,
AI too. So, you know, obviously, before we get into that, you know, what happens from there? So they enter this door, and it's not a primitive lab or a primitive,
but it's got some older.
but
It's
it's
a
a little bit
solo
older
lab.
technology.
It's
yeah,
an- yeah.
they said Bernard says that it takes a few days to make a body
Using that old equipment.
yeah, opposed to maybe a day or so, I guess, however long that we think.
Well, he
that
said
the
it'll
newest-
take a full day to make that body, whereas ours will take, however long.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, we see right away that that Ford kind of pops out of there when Teresa's looking at these
Blueprints.
Oh, they're
blueprints.
looking at the blueprints for Dolores, and then she's like,
and
"Did you
who's
take a
on
look
that
at these?"
blueprint?
See these? Yeah, have you
Oh,
seen?
and he's like, and he looks and he's like, "This doesn't look like anything to me." And we're like, "No,
Yeah, no,
oh, you
Jesse
fucker."
definitely called that.
The thing is,
Oh.
it was as soon as she had that shocked look on her face, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then what happens? And just like the previous time Bernard was at the house, Ford just pops out like a fucking
Yeah.
Yep.
little ghost, and we find out that he sets up this whole elaborate scheme, and we find out the big bombshell is, you know,
Bernard.
He's a host, but
Yeah.
a little bit of information here. Did we not all notice in previous episodes when Ford would dismiss Bernard, it'd be like, "You can go now, Bernard." and he'd go, no questions
Yeah,
asked.
if we go back now, I guarantee you.
Sure, it'll all click that way too. But they
Because
made
he
it
did
so.
that when he was in Ford's office, especially.
Yeah,
Right.
they
Yeah.
made it so. I think a big thing was when they showed him speaking to his wife via the Skype call, or
Yeah,
the fact
video
that
call.
they mentioned, they mentioned that he had a son. So
We see him.
yeah. So my thing with that is if Ford set this whole thing up and he has Bernard at his beck and call and what, like, pretty much doing his dirty work, that he must have set up a false wife or some kind of AI that spoke with Bernard to make him feel as if
Well,
he had a child, or he was
I got
speaking with
something.
somebody. He was speaking with a woman that claims to be. So that's just a programming thing, something that Ford put in his his
backstory.
consciousness.
Obviously, it's a backstory.
I
And
got a
that
program.
good one on
in a
this, man.
recording
All
or
right.
anything like that, and even with the son, with a memory that was implanted there, by Ford. It was
Yeah.
all Ford.
What do
I
you
don't
got,
think they're
Jess?
memories. I think coupling another fan theory that he could be Arnold, that is because he said, and I quote, Arnold's life was marred by tragedy.
Right.
Son dying, marred by tragedy. Wife dying, marred by tragedy. What does he do? He creates his wife and son as AI, or his wife as AI to
Yeah,
help
well,
to help cope.
that's I don't think he's. So you're saying that you think Bernard is
Possibly.
I think that's maybe two separate entities. But regardless, Ford set up this whole thing, and what does Ford do but command Bernard to
Kill Theresa.
kill Theresa? That
But
blood.
before
Because-
that, he makes good on his promise. He said, "Told you not to stand in my way," or something along those lines.
Yeah. And he's like this time. So I mean, as far as narrative goes, we get the information that this isn't that Ford and the company Delos do this. They've been doing this stance for years. He's like, they can't. He goes, they can't stop me. But every once in a while they try to fuck with me.
He actually
And-
uses that dance.
Yeah, they
like-
try to. Maybe they like to do the dance.
Yeah,
or
they
something
like
that.
basically that they like to fuck with me, and we do this every time. He goes, but this time it deserves a blood sacrifice. He's like, I'm kind of done with this. I'm getting too old for it. I don't want to do this anymore. Nobody's stopping me. He leans into her and he says, I built this entire fucking place.
Because she's trying to like dial out. Oh no! Oh no!
She's trying to get her phone, and he's like,
Yeah.
I built this, and and the whole time Bernard's like, what?
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 That's how crazy.
What?
Yeah,
know?
exactly. He's like, not me.
So yeah, I
That's-
mean, look, and so that's that, man.
Can
So
we touch on Bernard?
yeah,
And
that's what I was.
his awesome. He goes, what does he do? He says, Bernard, will you take care of it? And Bernard takes his jacket off,
Yeah, not to get
takes
dirty.
his tie off, straightens
Yeah.
his cuffs, and then he proceeds to kill.
Yeah, he
Do
like-
you
The skin.
think he's done that
Is-
before?
Possibly.
Possibly. I mean,
Possibly not to a Delos rep, but somebody.
Well,
it could be.
well, I mean,
could
yeah.
be.
So yeah, I don't know.
And he's obviously super advanced too. He's got to be
Yeah.
the most super advanced host that's been created to an extent, because he himself, Bernard, didn't even realize.
Okay,
that
but
he
you see, but
was-
that's easy though. That's easy to explain. Is that he's been programmed to know about the
Well, that's
host,
what I'm
but
saying.
not
He
himself.
has like a super,
No, I don't think.
rep-
No, I don't think it's super
he's
because it's.
completely different compared to all the rest of the
No, I
hosts
don't
that
think
are
so.
walking
Yeah, I think
around.
he's got to be a little bit different.
He's much different.
How?
He's much different.
How you? But let me
Because
let me
he
let me
himself-
give
well,
you
his
let me
intelligence
let me
was
explain.
one.
Wait, let me explain. How is it any different than any of the other hosts that believe what they believe about themselves and their world? It's not.
He's on
They're-
a Maeve intelligence level for one.
No, hold on. They're programmed to know what they're programmed to know. Bernard is programmed now. You work at Westworld. You know about that. You know about all these things. You're programmed to know. You're programmed to be their shepherd. That's who
No, but
you
he's
are.
programmed to be a human being.
And
Yeah.
so are they. But so are they. What's the difference?
They're not controlled to be a human.
Nah,
he
nah.
himself believed that he was alive.
They believe they're alive, Mike. What are you talking about?
They
Of course
know
they
the
do.
difference between a robot and a human.
But there's
Exactly.
no. But it's okay though, as long as he doesn't know he is. What do you? I don't understand how you guys aren't getting this. It doesn't matter that he knows about robots. Just because they don't know about robots doesn't mean he can't. Of course he knows about robots. That's how he's programmed.
No.
It means it's the
We're
same
we're
thing.
not saying that. We're
I
saying
know.
that he's programmed differently than these other
Yes,
robots.
Oh, but
He has a higher intelligence. He has a higher self-awareness because he does have somewhat of a semi-consciousness. He can interact with different human beings in different ways. He does not have a dialogue tree per se.
Well, no, he's not
So,
self-conscious
yeah.
because no, he's not self-conscious because
Well,
if
not
he was
self-conscious,
self-conscious,
but different.
no,
different.
we're all kind of saying the same thing. But
Yeah.
I don't think he's any different than them. He's just like you said, programmed differently.
I think he's
Just
I think
programmed
he's a-
differently. There's nothing special about him.
Whatever
He's
it
just
is.
programmed differently.
I wouldn't say
That's the
that
only
at
thing
all.
special. I'm telling you right now. There's nothing. There's
It
not.
obviously tricks everybody because everybody else that works there, the actual human beings, obviously think that he's a human along with
Yeah.
with him.
But
He
again,
didn't
you're not
realize-
convincing me because that's what they're made to do.
Well, I mean, I don't.
They're
I
made
don't
to
know.
do
I
that.
don't know.
They're
No.
made. Think about
We'll
it, guys.
find out.
They're made to do
Well, I'm
that.
not
They're
gonna
made to be like
there.
humans, and there's no reason for anyone to think that the man in charge of behavior is not a human. So what? There's no reason that anyone would think that. Absolutely none. So of course they're not going to be like, oh, he was a little weird today. No, he's always been weird. He's always been quirky. He's always been quiet. That's kind of one of the reasons why we kind of like them in the show, because he's the weird guy. He's the thinker. He's the guy that's trying to reprogram Dolores. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Now,
but
that's a thing.
That yeah.
Now you
that
have to understand.
ties-
Now
yeah.
that's a thing. So that's something that we didn't. That
Arnold.
well, here's the thing. I think. How about we do this? Why don't we do a little bit of theories right now? I mean, we haven't really just, but I think maybe our theories kind of, made the last episode interesting. So let's do a new little section. We'll call it theories. I think that Bernard has, like you're saying, Jesse, is something to do with Arnold. He's, I don't know. He's his consciousness. Or maybe it's something. Remember, Arnold was the one, like you mentioned previously, Jess. Arnold was the one with that pyramid that was trying to reach that consciousness. So yes,
Exactly.
maybe Bernard is a specimen, like a one of a kind specimen. Then maybe you are right. Maybe that is that, but it has something to do with Bernard.
Semi-consciousness, maybe.
he
Semi-consciousness.
has to be something different for him to even just question the fact that he just is shocked to find out that he's not human, but a host.
Undoubtedly, he's different. Different in
That's
some
the big.
form or
That's all you
fashion.
need to know.
Well, you know what?
is-
Think about what happened to Maeve when she found
one
out
else
that
is
she was a robot.
questioning.
She froze up.
No,
He
but
didn't
she
freeze up,
knows
though.
she.
He was
And
told
he
to freeze.
and he didn't. No. But that's my point. She didn't. She froze up. She got, things got crossed,
Yeah.
and he had to reset her. Bernard didn't. He was just like, wait. He was, though. See, here's the funny thing. He was getting worked up, and he says, stop before you get yourself worked up. And Ford makes Bernard stop, and he freezes him for a second. But then Bernard, under his own accord, comes back into, he unfreezes
Yes.
himself. So, all right. So maybe there is a
He's
level.
special, obviously.
Maybe there's
He's
a
definitely
level
special.
there's a
He's
level
definitely
of
special.
programming there that the other ones are not given. I don't know. The point is, I think it has either it's a construct of Arnold, or I don't know. Arnold's involved in Bernard somehow.
Now, let's go to the Dolores thing. I think there's two options here, maybe even three. But one of them is definitely Mike's AI theory of Arnold. Arnold uploaded himself as an AI. I think either Mike or you said that like 2 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Mike, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or the fan theory that Bernard is Arnold and somehow has his consciousness or something like that. Who knows?
Oh, he's up me.
Or 3, Arnold never died. It was all staged, and he's programmed Bernard in his own vision.
What if Ford's a host?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Right. yeah.
That's
right?
also a fan theory that I've read, so could be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
maybe
that's
I
Arnold.
hope not.
Maybe Arnold made Ford or something. Like.
Oh
Yeah,
Jesus,
I-
man.
Well, you
I
know
don't
what?
know.
Now at this
There's a
point,
million things.
at this
There's a
point,
million
if he's
things.
making Bernard, and Bernard is, one of you guys said it earlier, where So Ford made Bernard, and has him in the mix of everything. But that makes sense for someone like Ford, because Ford has a god complex, and he wants somebody that he knows in and out to be in the position that Ford's in. Bernard's in.
Well, as Ford says, he doesn't have a god complex. He likes enjoying his own narratives.
Oh, he's saying
they're the ones that have.
They're the ones with the god complex.
They're god complex, yeah, which is a
so
fucking
actually, let's
pot calling the kettle.
What about last week with Elsie? Who grabbed her? Did Bernard grab her?
Yeah, we got that whole thing to think about. We don't know that yet. Yeah.
There's a lot.
Maybe.
And is she dead?
Probably.
I don't know. I don't think she's dead.
I don't think she's dead yet.
I think she's in Sector 17 though.
She's in Sector 17
because she can't be located.
Yeah. We might see her. We might see her next episode.
Maybe. I guess we'll see with that. Yeah.
Or they're gonna pull a Glenn and not show.
She's under a dumpster.
She's under a dumpster for fucking 3 or 4 episodes. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. The coming attractions for the next episode look fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm super enjoying the show. I really enjoy where they're going with it. I think it's really cool. I'm excited to see what they're doing you mentioned it earlier too, Jesse, when in our live reaction, how Hopkins doing Hopkins. He's Silence of the Lambs. Good. He's getting that Hannibal Lecter vibe going.
That like close up of his face after she fires Bernard, he's just like, "You're gonna die."
Yeah, you're in for it. Yeah. I also want to acknowledge the fact that Jesse was right about hating Theresa. So points for you, man. You were completely not that I don't think Mike and I didn't think that it was her either.
No, I said I hated her. Yeah, no, I said I hated her.
Mike was on board with me. You was leaning to the other side.
I was just playing devil's advocate, but yes, I don't know. So I mean, it's I'm loving this show. This show's just fucking really cool. I'm really
hard to believe we're 7 episodes in.
Yeah, these last couple episodes have definitely piqued my interest a little bit more, especially last week with Maeve, and now this week with the whole Bernard bombshell thing.
I want to get back to the Man in Black.
Oh, we'll get him next week.
I wonder. We haven't seen them much. We haven't really seen too much with the Dolores part really the last couple of weeks. We really haven't seen too much with the Men in Black and Teddy too much. It's like little glimpses like we saw today.
Yeah. Well, I think next episode is going to be the one. So it looks like the Man in Black is messing with Wyatt, he's tossing him around and shit.
Like
so
he does Dolores.
Like he does Dolores. It actually did that cut. So yeah,
and then Teddy has the reveries.
Right. So I mean, it looks like look, there's a lot of things going in and out, and they're obviously steering us where they want us to pay attention to. But it's
they're
all
very tricky. It could just change. That's why I said even like with the whole theory idea, they could be a million different ideas. I mean,
we could do a whole theory episode. It'd be an hour, and then next
that's why I wanted to throw. That's why I wanted to throw a few theories at the end here, just to just to have some theory stuff in there. Why not? There's a lot going around now. So
the last 10 minutes of every video would be a theory session if need be.
So anyway, I think we've beaten this horse dead enough. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to just bring up, or that you noticed, or that?
Oh no, are there any dead horses in this episode where I can beat them with Lucille on the page?
No, I mean Lawrence does mention that his friends, the 2 horses he had with him, were itching to get back into the war. He said. So, but they're not dead yet. So, no, I think
maybe next episode we can make a dead horse reference and I can beat him on the edit.
Yeah. Although there probably were a bunch of dead horses though when the Ghost Tribe people attacked the Confederates.
Ghost Nation is what it was.
Yeah. So who knows? But anyway, all right. So I think that's gonna be it. I think that's a show, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Hope you guys go check out our live reaction and enjoyed that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Westworld, which is really good stuff. So let us know in the comments what's going on in your brains, what some theories that you've come across, and let's talk about the theories. Just write them in the comments. We'll chit chat with you about them. We'll shoot the shit, as they say.
We've all been enjoying interacting with you guys in the comments, from your little comments on, well, this theory's not that and this theory's that. So definitely leave them, because I enjoy reading them.
Keep them coming.
And
it's fun.
I know these guys do too.
Yeah, it's great. That's part of the reason why we're doing this, guys, because three of us love this stuff, and we wanna share it with other people and bring in that conversation. So.
Wait until we get to Game of Thrones next year, and you will see how much of a nutcase all three of us are.
Yeah, well, that's what I got to do. I got to get into those books. I want to read them, but definitely.
You got some time, but dude, I'm telling you, man, audiobooks.
I'll get them.
Do the audiobooks, man, on your way to work. You have plenty of time on the way to work, man. You can get a lot of good fucking listening in on there, man.
I mean, I need to reread them. I haven't read them since last year or the year before last. So
listen, I read those. I read those 5 back to back. I can't right now. I'm okay. I'll be fine.
I don't do back to back.
You can skim through them.
Once every.
Yeah, I mean, I did that run right after another, and I was like, oh god, it's just a lot. But it was amazing. I loved it. Though. And now we're off book anyway, so does it really fucking matter? Yeah. No, it doesn't matter. We're like way off book now, so it doesn't matter.
I don't think George R.R. Martin's ever going to get those books done. Screw that.
Yeah. Anyway, this has been Game of Thrones Talks here at Third Person Podcast.
Yeah. Game of Thrones mixed in with Westworld, 2 HBO series.
Guys, if you're watching this and it isn't already up, Jesse and I are going to be doing a video. We're going to start a little review series on the show Humans. You can watch that show's on AMC. It starts in February, but it's out in the UK right now, and so we're gonna do some review videos on that. It's a really amazing show, and it's very similar to Westworld, and with the they're not called hosts, they're called synths, but it's basically a host that people live in the world and stuff, and they're these androids, synthetic human beings that they used for labor, housekeeping, sex stuff, fucking all this crazy shit.
I think we mentioned this exact part previously.
Hey, that's what they do, man. It's what would happen. It's reality. It's life. But I
mean, there's a whole brothel dedicated to synths.
Exactly. So
that's
it's a really cool show. Yeah, it's right up our alley, and it's a nice companion type of thing with this show, even though it's not the same universe that we know of. But so take a look at that, because that's going to be on our channel this week too. If you're watching this, it's probably already up by then. But anyway, that's it, guys. If you want to get to us, thank you again for leaving comments. So keep leaving those comments. If you want to get to us on any social medias, it's at Third Person Pod. Go check us out on those things. And I think that's going to do it. For us. Right?
Sensu bean. Oh, wait, I didn't get the voice.
You didn't? You suck.
Hold on. I can get it. Hold on. Okay, so I'm Krillin and Sensu bean.
There you go. You had to get into it. You had to tell yourself who you were. Anyway.
I didn't have any water, so.
Oh, there you go. This has been Third Person. This is the Third Person Podcast. Guys, thank you very much. My name is Kris. Mike. And that's Jesse.
I'm Jesse.
Name, remember? I knew it. I knew you guys were going to trip up with that.
Yes. I told Mike, I was like, do it every time, man.
Do it every time. He's like, I don't know what's going on.
I'm perplexed.
Perplexed. Anyway, that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We're going to see you next time. So peace out.